It is the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization, Locked On Big 12, and right here on Westwood One Sports. Roy Lee runs the board, Addie Bates produces, and good morning to everyone but Fernando. I still don't think I've gotten the melody to Fernando by ABBA down yet. Is that even Addie? Good morning. We'll go hot off the press here. Is the song even called Fernando? I'm starting to forget.
The one you're singing is Orlando from the Book of Mormon. Fernando's the one that goes like, there was something in the air.
Fernando. Yeah. That makes way more sense. Doesn't it seem, don't we seem so far removed from the bright lights, the confetti falling down, 16-0 national champion. He's lifting the Heisman, Fernando. And the whole place is singing the song. He's Fernando Mendoza, top of the world. Well, last night, I didn't hear, they didn't play the song. I didn't hear him singing the music. And on prime time, Thursday night, ESPN, like the world could watch this. I was trying to watch the Browns and the Bears play their preseason game last Saturday. And it took me, this could just be me being an idiot. It took me 17 minutes to figure out, okay, like Browns Sports Network, NFL Network, preseason plus, like just piecing chords together, trying to watch a preseason game. Last night, didn't have that problem. The world could see Fernando Mendoza, the Las Vegas Raider. And I don't think Fernando Mendoza wanted the world to see last night's iteration of Fernando Mendoza, the Las Vegas Raider. He looked uncomfortable against a Houston Texans defense that is bang up. And when both their teams are rotating ones in and out the first few drives, the first quarter, you can tell, and even in practice this week, Mendoza threw a couple of pick sixes, but you could tell yesterday, incredibly uncomfortable for Fernando Mendoza, the rookie Heisman Trophy winner, college football's best quarterback, the first overall pick, who was 8 for 15, 86 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. Fernando Mendoza had a bad night. And I am the king of overreacting to preseason games. I love to. It's my favorite thing to, because football's back. So I watched a game last night and think, no, did we lose him? Did we lose the boy? 8 of 15, 86 yards, no scores, and a pick for Fernando Mendoza. Let's take you back to the pick. It wasn't just an interception. Heard on ESPN last night, Fernando Mendoza throws a pick six.
Daston Genty. Play action from Mendoza, and he comes back over the middle, and he's picked off. Woodaz, the rookie. Mendoza trying to track him down and cannot. Pick six.
An 80-yard pick six that Fernando Mendoza tossed in the first quarter last night in Houston against Houston. But then it kind of got worse. The opening play of the second quarter, right back to ESPN and Joe Buck. Fernando Mendoza dropped.
Really a great year for everyone. Mendoza keeps. He's in trouble, and down he goes. Wrestled to the ground by Caden McDonald. The second-round pick.
That's not how that... I mean, but this is supposed to be the fun display on Thursday night where the world can watch. 8 o'clock Eastern time, prime time, ESPN. Yeah. Fernando Mendoza. This felt a little bit, it's a bit different than your normal preseason game that's on NFL TV Network Plus. This was accessible to the world. And again, as the king of reading too far into preseason games, I'll read far enough into this to say Fernando Mendoza, who looked to me incredibly solid in preseason game number 1, last night's regression worries you. It's not fun, right? If you're the Raiders, think about if you're the Raiders, namely a Raiders fan, 310-840-4910. How much do you read into a preseason game, right? You wake up this morning thinking, oh man, what if this whole Mendoza experiment doesn't work? 310-840-4910. The phone lines are open. As someone who reads into preseason games, and as somebody who's already frustrated for the Raiders, frustrated because of this. When you were a kid and Christmas rolls around, on Christmas morning, if your dad had gotten you a trampoline, you're like, oh, yeah, that's the one thing I needed was a trampoline. And he says, yeah, you can't play with it for a year. You can't jump on the trampoline. But remember 4 years ago when we got you moon shoes, the smaller version of a trampoline, but for your feet, you can play with the moon shoes. So, but Dad, I've had moon shoes. Moon shoes have been here. It's Christmas morning. I want to play with the trampoline that we just got. Not yet. Trampoline's not ready yet. That's what Raiders fans have been told, is your brand new shiny toy, Fernando Mendoza, not ready yet. Still cooking in the oven. We got to give him some time. Kirk Cousins is going to be the starting quarterback. I imagine there is frustration with the idea that you woke up on Christmas morning and you can't play with a trampoline. Mendoza is the first overall pick. Heisman Trophy, 16-0. And before preseason games began, the Raiders were clear Mendoza was not the starting quarterback. It's Kirk Cousins. And then get into the preseason games. Mendoza looks great game 1. Game 2 rolls around, and last night, again, it was a dud. With the pick 6, the sack not long after, and Fernando Mendoza seemed human, which we never saw that side of him at Indiana last year. But then, as I sat there in a smoke-filled bar, Tybee Island, Georgia, watching this game, drinking the 1 Miller Lite that I had last night, I thought to myself, go easy on the kid. Because here's what Fernando Mendoza sounded like. Here's the human being that walks the earth, that shares the planet with you and I. Here is the human being, Fernando Mendoza, on his disastrous night in Houston.
I think there were a lot of learning moments tonight. Evidently, it's not exactly the outing that, our offense wanted, but there's still a lot of time left in the clock, so hopefully the boys can get it done and get a W for us.
That is just so Fernando Mendoza. It's not exactly what we wanted, but there's time. We can do this with the power of friendship. Fernando Mendoza strikes again. Good morning again, Addie Bates. I've said it. I've said it the last 2 weeks. I love reading into preseason games. I love reading into the storylines. I love reading into Fernando Mendoza throwing a pick 6 and looking bad last night. How much do you read into a preseason football game?
If it's in terms of Fernando Mendoza, I'm not reading into it too much. That interception wasn't great, and he does these little things like he's not really able to manipulate the cornerbacks. You know what I mean? Like you know exactly where it's going to go. He'll tap the ball. His internal clock is a little slow, and where his feet are planted, that's where it's going. So it's kind of easy to read him. These are things that I think can be taught, and that's why he's not going to be their starter. I don't think we're going to see him until, if Kirk Cousins does poorly, until week 5, 6. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay if he rests a little bit. If I'm reading into one thing from this Raiders offense, that O-line is atrocious. And I understand that the Texans defense is great, but a big part of it is that the Texans had some of their twos out there. It wasn't just their big guys out there. And there were a lot of plays where immediately there was a busted O-line. And so I'm concerned about that. When you have a guy whose internal clock is already pretty slow and he's going to where he's planning, that's where he's going and everything. Like, that's why we saw a sack, and that's why there was a lot of pressure on him. So this Raiders O-line for a rookie quarterback is not ideal, but for Kirk Cousins, good luck. I mean, hopefully you don't have to see the blue tent anytime soon.
Yes, that's a good pushback on this take that, right, you've got to get the present in there and then be able to play with it on Christmas morning and not have to wait. I think that Fernando Mendoza should start week 1 and be the guy for the Raiders. Maybe the stopgap of Kirk Cousins for a few weeks grows him up into the NFL. But what I don't like is I remember as a Cowboys guy watching Dak Prescott his rookie year thinking, oh damn, he's good. Or C.J. Stroud even a couple of years ago, Jaden Daniels, his rookie year, Caleb Williams showed a lot of flashes. Are we taking the opportunity away from Fernando Mendoza to break out on the scene the way that a Jaden Daniels, a Dak Prescott, a CJ Stroud, a Cam Newton did in the NFL by not giving Fernando Mendoza the starting job.
No, I think this would be the perfect thing for his growth. I think the worst thing we could do is have him start week 1 and put him under that kind of pressure when we've seen him be shaky when he has started. And the thing is, we're going to have a difficult conversation. Let's say Kirk Cousins gets injured. That Aidan O'Connell guy.
Aidan O'Connell.
He looked pretty damn good. And that is not a diss on Mendoza. He is a rookie. He's 22 years old. And if I had to guess, he's probably never had a sip of alcohol. He's a kid. Like, he's just a kid when it comes down to it. And so in order to protect his longevity and his success down the line, I think it's important that he does not start and that they continue to work on his mechanics and the way his internal clock runs, because right now he's going to get destroyed in this league if they continue to let him play like he is right now.
Addie wants to give the kid a margarita.
You know what?
Just give the guy a margarita.
Let's go to the Strip. Let's go to the Las Vegas Strip.
Nope, scary. Strip is scary.
Fernando Mendoza, can I show you the Venetian? Caesar's Palace.
You said the name. Aidan O'Connell last night, 15 for 24, 166 yards. And at the end of the game, to win a preseason game on the road, Clint Kubiak calls the tush push, and the Las Vegas Raiders knocked off the Houston Texans 22-20 after the Texans scored 0 points in the second half. Here's the final call.
And O'Connell is going to get pushed from behind.
Little tush push.
Well, the clock is continuing to run, and it's a touchdown.
Yeah, that was the issue. If you go with that, you got to get it across the goal line, and I wasn't sure if he did.
The Raiders win preseason game number 2. They're now 1-1 on the preseason, rallying from that 20-3 halftime deficit to knock off the Texans again, 22-20. Behind Aidan O'Connell, who came in and led the way. Addie's backup quarterback. She wants Aidan O'Connell, the Las Vegas Raiders backup quarterback, in the event that Kirk Cousins gets hurt. Look, hey, bubble wrap Fernando Mendoza while you can. Lead him into the NFL slowly. 41-17, the final. San Francisco over the Chargers last night. Justin Herbert, 5 plays. He was 1 for 2, 9 yards. Brock Purdy, 4 for 6. 29 yards. Neither starter for both the Chargers and Niners got significant time. But Trey Lance, remember that name? Yeah. He's in the NFL. That's an NFL guy. For the Chargers last night was 10 for 16, 73 yards, but 2 carries for 42 yards on the ground. Again, 41-17, San Francisco on top. Latest news in Dallas Cowboys, New Orleans Saints world. Each franchise will be fined $500,000 by the NFL. Were the brawls really that bad? And here's why that's good news for both franchises. Let's talk Cowboys on the other side. It's 310-840-4910. You can call or text, get involved all day. This is the Drake Toll Show.
And I remember there was a radio coming from the room next door, and my mother laughed the way some ladies do. When it's late in the evening and the music seeping through, the next thing I remember, I'm walking down the street, I'm feeling all right, I'm with my boys, I'm with my troops, yeah. And down along the avenue, some guys were shooting pool, and I heard the sound of a cappella grooves, yeah. Singing late in the evening, and all the girls out on the stoops, yeah. Then I learned to play some lead guitar, I was underage in this funky bar. make myself a J. And when I come back to the room, everybody just seemed to move. And I turned my amp up loud and I began to play. And it was late in the evening, and I blew that room away. First thing I remember when you came into my life, I said I'm gonna get that girl no matter what I do. Well, I guess I've been in love before. Once or twice I've been on the floor, but I never loved no one the way that I love you. And it was late in the evening, and all the music seeping through. First thing I remember, I was lying in my bed. Couldn't have been no more than 1 or 2. And I remember there was a radio coming from the room next door. And my mother laughed the way some ladies do. When it's late in the evening and the music seeping through. The next thing I remember, I'm walking down the street. I'm feeling all right. I'm with my boys, I'm with my
The Dallas Cowboys fined $500,000 alongside the New Orleans Saints for brawls at training camp this week. I love it, man. I love it. For a franchise that's been called soft or underachieving, to have the moxie to grab dudes' helmets and throw them 30 yards across the practice field. 6 different brawls on the same day this week in Oxnard. That's the exact thing from the Dallas Cowboys. It makes me think, what if the NFL's 32nd ranked defense, what if they got their get back? And now the Cowboys are a force to be reckoned with. Let's take you out to the Lone Star State. Sean Sharif joins the Drake Toll Show from The Fan in Dallas. Sean, appreciate you giving us your time before your show this morning. And the Cowboys $500,000 fine coming down the pipeline from the NFL. Is this a sign the Cowboys have their swagger back?
I wouldn't read that much into it. For all the reporters that were out there covering it that we have on every day from DallasCowboys.com, they were annoyed and they were irritated with it. So none of them came on and said, oh, my God, this is a sign Christian Parker is bringing this moxie and this swagger. They were irritated with it. They're like, come on, let's get this daggone practice going. You had a lot of people there who were like, just shut this thing down. We should go ahead and cancel it. So I think they're a little bit more irritated and annoyed versus inspired that we now have a backbone defensively.
The inspiration side of this, then, the inspiration side of the week for the Cowboys, Von Miller coming in. And, he's talked about growing up DeSoto, 28 minutes away from the steps of Jerry World. This is a Dallas Cowboy, or I guess a Dallas kid through and through, and now a Dallas Cowboy. The injection of Von Miller into a Cowboys defense, how big of a move is that on the field? We know what it does off the field locker room. How big of a move on the field is this for production of the Dallas Cowboys next year?
I'd put it at like a 6 or 6.5 out of 10. Okay. There's nothing that tortures a football fan more than those stops to where you absolutely need it and then you cannot get off the field. And that was the Cowboys defense last year. It started in the opener against the Eagles. Jalen Hurts was just running for every first down possible. And then you go into the season and 3rd and 12 felt like a losing proposition. So I know that there are some naysayers, some on our station in the afternoon, Brian brought us, who are like, you can't be your leading sack guy. This is a problem. This is going to be an issue. The Cowboys don't need Von Miller to go ahead and get the final sack to win the Super Bowl like Aaron Donald. They need to get off the damn field on 3rd and 10 in the second quarter. They need to get off the field in the third quarter. They need to have the opportunity to have this great offense give you a 2-score lead. So the over-under in Vegas is 6.5 sacks for Von. I would take the over. It would not surprise me if he is their leading sack getter on the season. That is and would be an indictment of your other defensive end. So I think it's a really nice pickup for $5 million. I think it's going to be productive on the field. And I did not know that Von was like this big-time leader that he took so much pride in the locker room, where he said he wants to be a GM, front office, or pro personnel guy one day. So I like the pickup. Is it going to be Max Crosby? Absolutely not. But I think there's going to be about 4 or 5 moments this year where we're like, okay, that was the worth of the pickup and the signing right there, when the Cowboys can finally get off the field.
He's Sean Sharif joining the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, and the Westwood One Sports app from the Fan in Dallas. Sean, on that note, I've said it for the last all through the offseason, really, the Cowboys are a couple of moves away and then closer. I still foresee the Cowboys being one move away defensively from true contention in the NFL. And now that Jerry has said, hey, we didn't shut the door on Max Crosby, would that be the move for the Cowboys defensively? Is Max Crosby the name?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be the move. I mean, you still don't know what you have at linebacker. So, we ran a poll question on our show. If you were going to pick up one of these, nursing home vets, would it have been Von Miller? Would it have been Bobby Wagner? So you still have a lot of Cowboy fans who were interested in Bobby Wagner. Some people thought that they were going to pull up a trade for Jordan Brooks, the all-world linebacker in Miami. We still don't know what's going on with the secondary. There's still a ton of questions at corner with Deron Bland's recovery. And Savone Rebels had a fantastic camp. Is that going to carry over? Kobe Durant. I know that the Rams reloaded their corners, but he was let go for a reason. So could you make a move at corner? I know they're talking about a Dory Jackson. There's rumors out there on that no Cowboy fan wants. But, yeah, the obvious big one, if it doesn't go right with Donovan Ezeraku at end, and Malachi Lawrence, who we didn't really notice when we were out there training camp in Oxnard, takes time to develop as a rookie. Then, yeah, Crosby in-season move. If the Raiders have Fernando throwing pick sixes like I heard you talking about last night, that would be the obvious one.
Yeah. Sean Sharif joining the Drake Toll Show from the Fan in Dallas. When I was at Baylor, this wasn't very long ago, I was pledging 2020, super recent actually. And obviously we don't.
Wait, did you say pledging?
Learning how to become a new member of a fraternity. Is that
okay.
the current verbiage.
Okay, you weren't Escobar over there in Waco, right?
Well, it is Waco, Texas. They let you get away with a lot of things there. The Pledge Escobar thing was more prominent than it, but it's also Baylor. There's a pendulum there. And I remember my second week in this process that I wasn't hazed. I was asked politely to write a 7-page, I'd almost call it a manifesto about the Dallas Cowboys and why they would win the Super Bowl. And what that was, and I've learned, is like this permeating example of how Cowboys fans year in and year out, and myself, I'm guilty of it too, would walk into a football season and say the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl every year. It was just this roommate here, this guy here from your law class, this guy from the gym. Everyone's convinced themselves the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. How close are the Dallas Cowboys to actually winning the Super Bowl?
I think in a best case scenario, they're like a couple of rounds away. I think that they're going to win the NFC East. I'm very excited about all the changes, but look, there's a lot of changes. We're talking about, this isn't Madden, right? Like we're talking about 7 or 8 new starters. We're talking about, whiz kid defensive coordinator, we think, but has never called a daggone play in the National Football League. Right now, we're a little bit worried about right tackle with what's going on with Terrence Steele. And last year, and so far in training camp, knock on wood, they've had pretty good health. The issue with the Cowboys remains, what are you going to do against the elite teams that are over 500? Dak Prescott and this team usually fold up when it comes to that in the postseason. What are you going to do when you face a Houston Texans defense or a Denver Broncos defense or Brian Flores, who tied up Brian Schottenheimer in knots last year? Like when it comes to a heavyweight fight in the regular season, the Cowboys, they usually get their heads dunked in the toilet. And Dak Prescott, we all feel really good about. I do, as a very good quarterback right now. But the big question is what he does in the postseason after the Green Bay Packers debacle. So to me, if the Cowboys reach the NFC Championship game, that is a win on the season. If they win a playoff game, maybe some people would take that as a W, but I don't consider the Cowboys elite, and there's way too many questions about the new pieces and questions about, and this has also been a dumb football team too. They have not done the little things right under Mike McCarthy. They still have penalties under Brian Schottenheimer as well. So I still think they're a couple of rounds away.
He is Sean Sharif joining the Drake Toll Show from the Fan in Dallas. Sean, last thing I got for you, and then excited to tune in for what I can of your show at the conclusion of this one. Because, man, I've been so glued to kind of the coverage of the Cowboys since Jerry's rhetoric has become contend and win and almost looser to me this offseason. But we get a call or a text every morning saying that Dak Prescott is just not the guy. And if the Cowboys actually want to win it, he's not the dude to get them there. Well, I disagree. Where do you land on the Dak Prescott faux controversy?
I mean, I'm good with Dak and feel really positive about him during the course of the regular season. I think he's hit a stage in his career that Romo did towards the end where Tony said, look, I've conquered the game mentally. His body obviously failed him. I think Dak is there. He's seen every defense. He knows every coverage. He's familiar in this system. And Dak Prescott, I think, is going to have an MVP type season with his 2 wide receivers. But I do have a question about Dak mentally in the playoffs and what is going to happen in that big-time game and in that big-time moment. And until he proves that, he had one where he retired Tom Brady. He had a Rams game. He was okay. Nothing great against the 49ers. And then he wasn't fantastic against Seattle when they beat Russell Wilson. So to me, we got to go through the regular season, and then it's put up or shut up time with Dak in the playoffs, because I do have a mental hurdle question with him when it comes to that. But I expect an MVP type year from Dak if he can stay healthy.
Sean Sharif at 1053SS on Twitter. You can follow him and keep up with his coverage of all things Dallas from the Fan in Dallas. Sean, thanks so much for your time this morning. Have a great show.
Thanks for having me. You better be listening. Drake. Don't be just saying that. The Tolos
dialed in. I'll have one ear will be this show that we still have 2 hours of. The other ear will be yours. I'm going to find a way to do it.
Okay, thanks, man. Have a good one.
Great. That's that perspective. And maybe it opens up a greater conversation in the National Football League about quarterbacks who have performed in the regular season but not gotten their teams to the Super Bowl, even at this point, like a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen or a Dak Prescott, who put up the numbers, who will throw for 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns. But where is the postseason success? That's not just a question, in that conversation with Sean that we're talking about Dak Prescott, but it is of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen as well. Addie, we did the 2026 Drake Toll Show quarterback draft this week. And in that draft, you took Josh Allen first overall, despite the lack of postseason success. If the question is, hey, Dak's an elite regular season quarterback, but we don't know what he's like in the postseason in big moments, shoot, man. Josh Allen's an elite regular season quarterback, but we know he's pretty bad in the postseason moments. That worries me for the Bills being a Super Bowl favorite out of the AFC.
It's kind of like the Justin Verlander effect. For a very long time, Justin Verlander of the Detroit Tigers at the time was an elite pitcher for the Tigers. But the question was, what is he like in the postseason? Because he had struggled. And then finally he got that ring, and it was like, all right, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. That's kind of what it's going to be for these guys. They just have to do it because we know they are elite regular season quarterbacks. You just said that. And so they'll get it done. Josh Allen, right now, I do think this is his time. This is his year. There's no better year to do it. You got a new head coach, Dak Prescott. Man, you got a lot of good people surrounding you. I wouldn't say Jerry Jones. Would not say that. But in terms of the players that are on that field right now, the Cowboys team looks good. Do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year? No. But do I think they could definitely make it to playoffs? Yeah, absolutely. And I would consider that a win for Dak Prescott.
Yeah, the Cowboys spent an offseason where, whether it was Rashawn Gary from the Packers, now Von Miller coming into the fold, paying Quinnen Williams, where the defense was the focus, drafting Caleb Downs out of Ohio State. They wanted to restructure the front seven. And you just heard Sean Sharif say that 8 guys, you'll have 8 guys, new starters in this team, and that is strategic. That is purposeful. The Cowboys need something. Malachi Lawrence coming in at the pass rusher. Again, Caleb Downs at number 11 overall. The Cowboys forcing the issue defensively to win in 2026. 310-840-4910. Phone line, text line open. It is the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can listen live every day on the Drake Toll Show YouTube channel, Sirius XM 375, or the Westwood One Sports app. Cowboys open the season on the road against the New York Giants. 8:20 Eastern time, Sunday, September 13th. Little Sunday night football, Cowboys and Giants. That's a win. Then you play Washington at home. That's a win. Cowboys 2-0. But listen to this. Listen to the way the schedule turns for Dallas. You'll host Baltimore, coin flip. You'll go on the road to Houston. We already know how good that defense is. You'll host Tampa. Tampa is my winner of the South this year. I think Tampa's going to be better than a lot of folks are projecting. You go on the road against Green Bay and on the road against Philly. We're not even to November yet, and you've played Baltimore, Houston, Tampa, and gone on the road to play Green Bay and Philadelphia. There is a world where we look up and the Dallas Cowboys are 2-5 through their first 7 games. Now you loosen up with teams like Arizona, Indianapolis, the Titans on the back half. But listen, not out of the woods. You play San Francisco, Seattle on the road, the Rams on the road. Did you hear that for the Dallas Cowboys this year? How brutal this is. You get the Baltimore Ravens, the Houston Texans, the Green Bay Packers. You get the Los Angeles Rams on the road, Seattle Seahawks on the road, San Francisco 49ers, and the Eagles in your division twice. It is a brutal schedule for Dallas. If you're going to improve the defense, you've got to improve the defense enough to beat the offense of Baltimore, to beat the offense of Tampa Bay, of Green Bay, San Francisco, Seattle, Los Angeles. Hell, you get Jacksonville in late December in a game that might be a must-win, and Jacksonville's going to be good. The Dallas Cowboys have it stacked against themselves with the schedule in 2026. It's the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This quarterback, who is still deadlocked in a battle to become a franchise's starter, is giving up? That's next. This is the Drake Toll Show.
Gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses, evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction, in the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning, death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah. darkness world stops turning. Ashes where their bodies burning. No more war pigs have the power. And as God has struck the hour, day of judgment God is calling. On the knees the war pigs crawling.
Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. Those are two real names, real human beings that are deadlocked in a quarterback battle in the National Football League. It might be the saddest quarterback battle of all time. Deshaun Watson versus Shedeur Sanders. And we've gone a step further to Deshaun Watson, who just does not care, to a Shedeur Sanders who feels no pressure, and to a Cleveland Browns that have somehow fooled the National Football League, its fan base, have fooled us into talking about the Cleveland Browns over the offseason. 310-840-4910. It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can get involved. 310-840-4910. Talking preseason, NFL, training camp, and the Cleveland Browns quarterback battle. You know what? I think if you include Todd Monken, the head coach of the Browns, if you include the franchise, if you include both of the quarterbacks duking it, you know what? Throw Dylan Gabriel in there too. You're starting to sound very much like a whole horde of our biggest losers of the day. The biggest losers of the day, the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson, who has now been a relevant quarterback in the National Football League in 5 seasons. Deshaun Watson is deadlocked in a battle right now with Shedeur Sanders, son of Deion Sanders. It was 2020 when Deshaun Watson last threw for more than 1,200 yards in an NFL season. Shedeur Sanders was a freshman in college. And now both these guys are duking it out. And Deshaun Watson, our biggest loser of the day, just does not care. Here is Deshaun Watson on 92.3 The Fan this week.
I don't care. I don't care.
He just doesn't care. The way that we have been somehow trapped by this, the way that we are trapped by quarterback battles, what I think we are forgetting about Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders is both of them are bad. I understand it's the National Football League, and the thing that we want to do is talk about the NFL and who's going to start this year. Oh, big position battle over there. Oh, who's this team going to add? I don't think it matters the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, whether it's Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders. I think both of them are bad. Let's hear from Shedeur Sanders on what he's looking forward to in starting preseason game number 2.
Every day of my life is important. Every day is important. I wouldn't say it's a day that's not important. So that's just another day going out there doing what I got to do, honestly. I don't really feel anxiety or any pressure, going into things like that anymore because that's how I approach everything. So, it's just another day of going to work, That's how it is for me.
It's a day of life. It's a day of opportunity. It's a day where I get to go out there, and it's a day to do a day. Thank you, Shedeur. How poetic. Between that and a guy who doesn't care. One thing, again, I think we've lacked consideration of in this quarterback battle is both of them being bad. Watson, career derailed by major injuries and also 24 or more women who came forward with sexual assault allegations. And he's been sidelined for 2 years. The guy has not played a football season worth more than 1,200 yards since 2020, due in large part to controversy and injury. Deshaun Watson, even though he's got a $230 million fully guaranteed contract. Thank you, Deshaun. What a hell of an agent. On the other side, Shedeur Sanders had one of the worst rookie seasons we have ever seen. Shedeur, analytically, was putting together career worst numbers in the National Football League, including his QBR that was 18.9. His QBR that was 18.9 on a 56.5% completion percentage, 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. The kid was sacked 23 times. And still, the guy who's going to start this weekend of the preseason just holds the football. Shedeur Sanders. The Dogs, a Cleveland Brown podcast, tweeted yesterday. Dale Ryder had a bleak perspective of the Browns quarterback situation after yesterday's training camp practice. It's so bad, quote, it's amateur hour out there at times. This isn't NFL quarterback play. It's going to put a heavy burden on the skill position players to elevate the quarterbacks. Ryder highlighted Shedeur Sanders' premature spike to stop the clock in the 2-minute drill, which negated a field goal attempt that would have won the Browns the scrimmage. And that Deshaun Watson, quote, continues to misfire badly. Now, here is the good news for the Browns fans. Here's why the quarterback battle might matter. The Cleveland Browns don't have the worst schedule in the world. Open up at Jacksonville, loss. At Tampa Bay, loss. Then you get Carolina at home. Pittsburgh at home isn't the most world-beating thing. Then you play the Jets, Carolina, the Steelers, the Jets, Baltimore at home. But Tennessee, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, those stack up at the very least as games you could win. The Texans, that's a tough one. But after the bye week, listen to this. Listen what the Cleveland Browns at the bye week are within 2 games of 500, either direction. They're not going to tank for a draft pick. Because the back half of their schedule features, listen, Las Vegas, okay. Cincinnati, well, that's winnable. Atlanta, are the Browns hot right now? The Giants, hold on. Baltimore on the road, that's tough. Then you face the Colts and back in division with the Bengals. The Browns back half of their schedule. The Raiders, the Bengals twice, the Falcons, the Giants, the Colts. By virtue of their schedule, the Cleveland Browns, if they can find some semblance of a quarterback, will be okay. Problem is all of their quarterbacks look like the Chinese AI robots that have been running around and breaking themselves. That's what Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders look like. Addie Bates produces the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, and the Westwood One Sports app. Addie, is there a world where the Cleveland Browns, with maybe you at quarterback, with anyone serviceable at quarterback, can compete, not contend, but compete this season?
Okay, me at quarterback, you're acting like that would be a bad thing. I'll have you know that my dad
it would not
taught
be a
me
good
how to
thing.
throw a spiral whenever I was 4 years old. He was very adamant on that. Very adamant. I think I could do better than Deshaun Watson. And guess what? Ladies, and men out there, you know what? You're safe around me. This is safe space. I'm not Deshaun Watson. So I think this would be good for Cleveland. But no, this quarterback battle is very bad. It's just so bad. The fact that you have reporters out there who, by the way, covered Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones, and they're like, oh no, this quarterback battle is pretty bad.
Whoa. You mean the franchise quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts? Watch it.
Yeah, my bad, guys. Sorry, Colts fans. Like, that's just how you know you're not in a good place. You're not in a good place. Do you think JJ McCarthy should just go to Cleveland, maybe?
I don't often think about anything, actually, but it would be very funny if JJ McCarthy was in Cleveland. I don't know what it would give.
I think he's QB 1, 2, 3.
He may be QB 3 behind Carson Wentz, who is still somehow in Minnesota. The streets forget.
I think he could be a QB1 between these other guys who is Deshaun, I don't care, Watson, and Shedeur. You know, I'm blessed every day.
Blessed every day. He's blessed every day. Not a problem. to the final point there, is there a schedule in the world easy enough for the Cleveland Browns to win?
Oh gosh. I mean,
They would have to play the Jets every week. 17 games against the Jets. Scrimmage back
whatever
and
their
forth.
win total's at right now, like I would just hammer the under. That's
And we
what I would do.
guarantee that the winner of the Jets and Browns season inception loop, they get a playoff spot. That'd be awesome. That'd be so awesome.
If I just had to watch that all the time, it's that scene from A Clockwork Orange where little Alex is sitting there with his eyes pried open. That's what I would be. That's me telling people to stop if they made me watch the Jets play the Browns.
Groundhog Day. Bill Murray. We're in our biggest losers of the day on the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. The Cleveland Browns made the first pitch here. Let's take it to baseball for our biggest winner of the day. Michael K. for the Yankees putting up a not very historic, but an admirable 3-run inning. Michael?
That'll do it. For the Yankees, 3 runs in an inning. It's an offensive orgy. And this guy...
Yes.
And I get called to the principal's office for some things that I say. Huh? We have an offensive orgy in the Yankees and Orioles game. Oh, but I get in trouble for... I'm going to add this to the highlight reel for Michael K.
Is it just... Wait, but it was just 3 runs? Is 3 considered?
The Ménage à Trois. France. France. I did watch Talladega Nights last night again. Second time in 3 weeks. I'm addicted. I'm addicted. Major League Baseball. I wasn't going to do it, but we can keep it here for our final biggest loser of the day. Houston Astros. 18-3. Lost to the Angels last night in Houston. Addie, you sent me a text that said, and I quote, "This is just the Astros making me want to be sad."
Do you hear that, Drake?
Uh-huh. What's that sound?
Got some pill bottles over here.
Oh, no. To be fair, they're all legal. It's just Tylenol.
Just Tylenol. No, yeah, the AL West is atrocious. Everybody's run differential, everybody's is in the negative. They are all bad.
Not just by a little bit either.
No. Like, you asked me if I could be the quarterback for the Browns. I think I could be up there and be playing cleanup for the Astros right now. They lost to the Angels, who have not won a series since late May.
The Texas Rangers are a game out of first place in the AL West. They are 63-65 right now.
Woo!
You would be 20 games back in the NL West if you were 63-65 right now. And as Addie pointed out, the Astros, who lead the division, the Rangers in second place, the Mariners in third place, each of them have the exact same run differential, -46 this year. And to make matters worse, all 3 of those franchises are 4-6 in their last 10 games. That's gross.
We did have someone comment who said Addie would throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns for the Browns. So
You're really confident in your athletic ability.
nope,
with that.
somebody commented this. It's on our YouTube.
Addie did play. She was a collegiate athlete. So that's of the show between me, you, and Lee Roy. I'm going Addie Bates in that battle. She's been working out. 310-840-4910. Those are your biggest losers of the day. The Montreal Expos are back, and Fernando Mendoza is not. I'll explain the intricacy there. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. That's up next. This is the Drake Toll Show.
This is...
magic kind of medicine that no doctor could prescribe. I used to rule my world from a payphone, ships out on the sea. But now times are rough, and I got too much stuff. Can't explain life's of me. But there's this one particular harbor, so far but yet so near, where I see the days as they fade away, finally disappear. But now I think about the good times down in the Caribbean sunshine. In my younger days I was so bad, laughing about all the fun we had, seen enough to feel the world spin, mixing different oceans, eating cousins, listen to the drummers and the night sound, listen to the singers make the world go round. Lakes below the mountain flow into the sea like oils applied to canvas. They permeate through me, and there's that one particular harbor sheltered from the wind. Children play on the shore each day, and all is safe within. Most mysterious calling harbor, so far but yet so near. I can see the day when my hair's full gray, and I finally disappear. Yara te natura, me aroha te ane. Yara te natura, me aroha te ane. Yara te natura, me aroha te ane.
Fernando Mendoza. Well, that was bad.
Nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
You know,
You gotta have something.
I am
Wanna be with me?
very much pro reading into preseason games, freaking out over preseason games. Do you know why? Because I'm a normal human being. Because I'm normal. Because this is what we do with the National Football League. We are depraved of it for months on end, and then when it comes back in any capacity, I get jittery. I feel it. I feel something in my stomach when the Hall of Fame game comes around every year. Could be IBS. Or it's just the love of the National Football League. And so when it's back, how do you expect me to go last night to Nikki's Bar and Grill in Savannah, Georgia, on Tybee Island, and where they have the crab leg special on Thursdays? $45 for 2 pounds of crab legs. That's 4 clusters, $45, fries, hush puppies, coleslaw. And I sit down, and what's on every TV in this bar, this little smoky bar that Billy Currington is banned from. Awesome. He's the country singer. Thank God for good directions. We're neighbors. I walk into that bar, every TV, it's the Raiders, it's the Texans. How do you expect me to not dive all the way in, care a little bit too much, and decide who's going to win the Super Bowl based on the preseason? What did Fernando Mendoza no favors last night is last weekend. I can picture it so vividly, sitting on a bus in Salt Lake City, going to a baseball stadium, trying to find the Browns versus the Bears preseason game. And it's okay, well, not on ESPN, not on Fox, not on CBS, not on NBC. What about NFL TV Network Regional Plus, Browns TV Network Regional Plus? I'm going through any and all avenues trying to figure out how to watch this preseason game. I didn't have to do that last night with Fernando Mendoza. And guess who didn't look very good with the spotlight of the NFL world, the spotlight of the sports world on him? Fernando Mendoza. Now, some of these preseason games, and this is the nature of preseason, some of these preseason games, you are playing against the ones. Fernando Mendoza goes out there and plays against a rotating ones and twos from the Houston Texans. Some of these preseason games, especially in the second half, you're playing against plumbers, lawyers, future insurance salesmen. For Mendoza last night, he got a good taste of the ones and twos of an elite NFL defense, the Houston Texans. And he didn't look great. Now, let's be fair to the kid. Wide receivers didn't do him a ton of favors. Offensive line did him no favors. But Mendoza was uncomfortable. And maybe what was displayed to you during a preseason game is an example of why Fernando Mendoza is not the starting quarterback for the Raiders. Because not only is he possibly behind the punch, but the team is. No doubt. That's been showcased. That I can probably deduce without overreacting to these preseason games. Am I overreacting? 310-840-4910. The phone line, the text line is open. Am I overreacting on Fernando Mendoza's collapse last night? I mentioned pick six. Here's proof. As called on ESPN by Joe Buck. 80 yards. Mendoza makes a big mistake.
Ashton Genty. Play action from Mendoza, and he comes back over the middle, and he's picked off. Wood as the rookie. Mendoza trying to track him down and cannot. Pick six.
Not only a pick six, but a pick six on the other side of the field. 80 yards. Take it all the way back. And it's time for today's obituaries. Yeah, it is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization. Locked on Big 12. Addie Bates produces. Roy Lee runs the board. And dead today, the new trampoline you got on Christmas. That's what this is to me. Is Fernando Mendoza is the new trampoline you got on Christmas. I remember when I was 4 years old. And this is backwoods Arkansas, small town Arkansas. We didn't do the ones that had the net around it. If you fell off, you were done. Broken neck city, broken leg city, broken bone city. No net around it. Got a trampoline at the age of 4. What would have happened if I got a trampoline on Christmas morning and my dad said, nope, can't play with it? What do you mean, Dad? It's brand new trampoline. It's right here. Nope. Next year. Got to wait a year. Well, then how is this my Christmas? Well, no, you gotta wait for it. Well, okay. So what toy do I play with? Your moon shoes. My moon shoes. I've had moon shoes for years. They're in the closet. Why would I play with that on Christmas? I want to play with the new toys. Nope, moon shoes. That's the equivalent of what the Raiders are going through right now. They've killed off the trampoline on Christmas. You cannot use Fernando Mendoza. Oh, you fan out there, you're excited about Fernando Mendoza? Oh, the first overall pick is ours. He's a quarterback. Went 16-0 in college. Won the Heisman Trophy. You want to see him play? Nah, it's Christmas morning, but you can't. Nope, can't use the trampoline. You're stuck with Kirk Cousins, who in this situation is moon shoes. Addy Bates, would you be excited if on Christmas morning you couldn't play with the trampoline?
Well, when you give me a loaded question like that, I told you in the first.
It's not loaded.
Yes, it is.
Would you play with the trampoline? Black and white, cut and dry.
Actually, probably not. Probably not. When
my
dad was a kid, he got a trampoline and got a concussion right after getting it. So probably not.
Is your dad Brandon Ayuk? Actually, HIPAA violation. Don't respond.
This is a smart thing. This is smart for the Raiders. Let him sit. He's obviously not ready. He's shaky out there. His O-line is terrible. Do you want him to have CTE after one season as he gets sacked and sacked and sacked and sacked?
Let them sit. Me at Tiananmen Square in the corner. Do it. Let him do it.
Like, come on. Like, he's already slow. His internal clock is really slow. His footwork is slow. And you match that up with a bad O-line that's busted almost every play. No, that's a disaster. This is a smart thing. Let Kirk Cousins play and let Mendoza sit back and learn for a little bit. He has a mentor. That was the whole reason why they got Kirk Cousins.
Right, but where CJ Stroud was such a good rookie and Jaden Daniels was such a good rookie, do you take the opportunity away from Fernando Mendoza to do the same thing and surprise the NFL and make his team a competitor?
I understand that he won the Heisman, but I don't think it's a shock that this was a weak quarterback class. Like, I don't think any other season he's winning the Heisman. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. If he was put in the era where Joe Burrow was playing and he played like that, he's not winning the Heisman. And so I just don't think he is NFL ready in his current state.
Yeah. Oh, that was showcased last night in a hapless game for Mendoza, but a game that the Raiders won 22-20 despite being down 20-3 at halftime with their second preseason game. Mendoza's final stat line, 8 for 15, 86 yards, and an interception. No touchdowns for the kid. Again, Raiders 22, Texans 20. Las Vegas on top. Dead today. Anybody who showed up to the complex at SoFi last night to see Justin Herbert play? Kids, wake up. We're going to the preseason game. We're going to see Justin Herbert. Well, we're going to see the idea of Justin Herbert. 1 for 2, 9 yards. Yeah. Yes. We were treated as America to a healthy dose of Mac Jones, Adrian Martinez, DJ Uiagalelei, and Trey Lance. That's right. Trey Lance still exists. When the Chargers fell to the San Francisco 49ers 41-17 last night in their second preseason game. And finally dead today, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Matthew Labb tweets. It's a joke, by the way. Sarcasm, but it's good. Matthew Labb tweets, breaking, the Los Angeles Dodgers are saying that Ippei Mizuhara, Shohei Ohtani's former translator, is to blame for years of financial fraud from the organization. It's pretty good. Pretty good tweet. The Dodgers owner, Mark Walter, is looking for $17 billion that the U.S. government is also looking for that are tied to Mark Walter. Probably not good. It is Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Those are your obituaries for the day here on the Drake Toll Show. Time for the quickie. Top 5 headlines in all of sports. Addy Bates reads them. Drake Toll responds. Minute to respond to each. Addy, are you ready?
Drake Toll, are you ready?
Close enough.
First headline. Kubiak keeps QB race going. He says, we've got another week.
Yeah. You are very much pro Kirk Cousins being the starting quarterback in Las Vegas for week 1. Are you, this is me kind of flipping around the minute on you. Are you pro Raiders starting Kirk Cousins in week 14, or is there a difference for you?
If Kirk Cousins is performing at a high level, then why wouldn't he be starting in week 14? That's what it comes down to. It's all the possibilities that could happen. What is a bad week for Kirk Cousins? What does that look like that would force them to go to another quarterback? Because in this moment in time, it's Kirk Cousins, Aidan O'Connell, Fernando Mendoza. If we're just going off the 2 games that we saw and what we've heard from training camp, Mendoza has had a couple of interceptions in training camp, and he's like, there's a lot of learning, and he's not lying when he says that. That is not a PR stunt. There is a lot of learning, and for Kirk Cousins, that is his mentor. Kirk Cousins has seen a thing or two around the league, and I feel like that is who should start for this Raiders team, who does not have the support that it needs to support a rookie quarterback like Fernando Mendoza, someone who is shaky out there, someone who is obviously nervous, someone who is slower than a quarterback should be for an NFL organization if they're going to start. If Kirk Cousins is playing well and at a high caliber, then yes, he should be their starter for week 14. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's not saying that Fernando can't come out, maybe second half of a game if it's a blowout game or something like that, just to kind of see what he looks like again. There's nothing saying that we can't do that.
Well, that's more than a minute. So, didn't leave a lot of time for me there. But
I thought you said you're flipping the minute back on me. I was just following your direction.
I did flip the minute. I did flip the minute. Yeah, the only other addendum to that, and all points hold, all points that you make there, I think are correct. It's not even a pushback. The Raiders might just want to lose. Kirk Cousins could be ass, and that could be good news for the Raiders, who might once again try to grab a top 5, top 10 pick. I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't think anybody would be shocked if the Raiders are clear with everyone in the building. We're a year away from actually wanting to contend.
How many times can you say you're a year away from contending before you're actually a year away from contending?
Ask Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow he also wants to know the answer to that inquiry. That's 2 minutes.
Here's your second headline. Cowboys and Saints fined $500,000 for practice brawls.
Practice? We're talking about practice? You're going to find you need $1 million combined out of the Saints and the Cowboys. Addie's a Saints fan. I am the most reluctant Cowboys supporter probably in the face of the earth.
Right.
And both of us agree that the brawls were awesome. All the videos were hilarious. I liked the guys. It looked like the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan. Dudes are ripping people's helmets off, throwing them 30, 40 feet. It was awesome. Dudes rocked in this scenario.
Hey,
yes.
Can you scoot over just a little bit towards the microphone? What is that right behind you? What's that right? Oh, on the YouTube stream, it's a Cowboys helmet. Reluctantly.
Reluctant Cowboys helmet. I love the brawls. Jerry has said he's going to start finding players or staff as well to help pay for this $500,000 that the Cowboys now owe the NFL. And he appealed the fine. I love it. I love Jerry sometimes. He's a funny guy. That's a minute.
Here's your third headline. Saquon Barkley calls out amateur training camp fights amid Eagles-Patriots joint practices.
Szechuan Barkley, of course.
He's the alter ego to Saquon.
Lesser-known brother of Saquon. Szechuan Barkley is a good bit. Somebody write that down. There's something. I can do something with that. Yeah, we got that rhetoric earlier in this show, actually, when Sean Sharif joined from the fan in Dallas. He's like, man, for the analysts who get to join, you'd be on just national morning radio and be like, oh, geez, how cool is this? The Cowboys are brawling. The Eagles are brawling. It's like people that are at training camp are just really bored. We want to go home. Please stop fighting. It's kind of silly and stupid and wasting our time. And I think Szechuan Barkley is telling the world the fights are kind of boring and wasting my time. I'm old now and experienced. I don't want to fight. I'm just watching a bunch of 22, 23, 24-year-olds who are in their first, second, or third year in the NFL go after it, and I'm done. Sorry, Szechuan. That's a minute.
Szechuan Broccoli.
Szechuan Broccoli. That actually, honestly, I would make that tonight. I might make that with my ribeye.
Here's your next.
I'll let you all know on Monday what Szechuan broccoli tastes like.
Oh, God.
If I'm making hibachi, it's gonna hurdle the rice. It's gonna reverse hurdle the rice. My Szechuan broccoli reverse hurdle.
Here's your next headline.
That's what they called me in high school. I walked down the hall. I'm like, damn, here he comes. Szechuan broccoli reverse hurdle. Convoluted, but it made sense.
Here's your next headline. The Arizona Diamondbacks are moving Ketel Marte to the IL 3 days after his no-show in Boston.
Move Ketel Marte to the surface of the sun. Yes, he will disintegrate, but that is not for me to figure out. Did we ever figure out why he was missing that one day? Just didn't show up for his game?
So he says, and they're saying he has knee inflammation, but the owner of the D-backs said he needs a lot of apologies and explanations because it's an entire mess. There's been stuff that's come out that shows that, Ketel Marte liked some Instagram that says Ketel doesn't want to play for the D-backs, and he liked it. And so now there's all these things coming out. When it comes down to it, no one actually knows. If the owner is coming out saying, I need a lot of explanations and apologies, that proves to you how messed up this situation is.
If you know where Ketel Marte is, 310-840-4910. That's the hotline. 310-840-4910.
Right now he's on the milk cartons.
Where is Ketel Marte? Please, everybody's looking for him. Bobby Fischer-esque. He's missing. Do you get that reference? How niche is that? How niche is the Bobby Fischer reference?
I don't know if Lee Roy is like vibing with it.
Yeah, Roy, get your ass in here. Roy, what do you got on Bobby Fischer, man?
I don't know.
Yep, that's all we needed. That's a minute.
I don't know what to say about it.
It's okay. In the break,
good.
I'll pull up the Wikipedia.
That's good. All right.
Chess player, international chess player. He went missing one time. It's a minute.
Oh, chess?
He said, psh. Here's your final headline. Engelbert says haters are using WNBA to create conflict.
You want to side of Engelbert with your Szechuan broccoli? Yeah. There were 2 weeks. There were 2 weeks where I was having a lot of fun of breaking down, like, wow, man, the WNBA is stealing all the headlines. Wow, the WNBA, this could be their moment. Capitalize on all the publicity, both good, bad, the attention. And it wore off so fast. What is good about this is now fans of the game can get back to the game and watch Caitlin Clark play, or can't watch AZ Fudd. It's a shame, lost her for the season. But watch the players just do the actual basketball thing and not have to worry about near as many of the storylines. But Engelbert said that everybody is trying to be divisive. They're trying to force the issue too much. Like, nope, this was a story 2 weeks ago. Am I off base there, by the way? I'm fatigued by every 3 headlines out of the WNBA is commissioner says everyone's sad and needs to go home. It's like, this is the same headline as last week. I don't care anymore. I'm done.
That's a minute.
That's a minute. Am I off there? Am I in the wrong?
No, it's a PR nightmare over there. Everything going on. People are throwing things on the court again. Like, everything's a mess. It's exactly what you think. It's a mess.
There were adult toys thrown on the floor.
Mm.
I went to a good point. Maybe I should stop myself. I went to a bar in Boise, Idaho 3 weeks ago called like Bouncin' Betty's.
Uh-oh.
And their whole bit is after midnight that they throw whatever live band is playing will throw adult toys onto the dance floor. Not a problem when they do it.
Did you get to keep them?
But when I show up to a WNBA game, they escort me out. No, I didn't. I didn't keep it. It's gross. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. That's the quickie. Top 5 headlines in all of sports. Sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Oh, no. One quarterback deadlocked in a battle for a starting position in the National Football League just said, I don't care. He gave up. That's up next. This is the Drake Toll Show.
Hey you, hey you with the curly bush on your head, baby. You know you're looking good, you know you're looking good, you know you're looking good. Soul sister, 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 ooh. You're looking good, honey.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, baby.
Hey you, ooh, ooh. Hey you with the bad hip boots on, little girl, girl. You're the baddest in the world. It sure would be nice, honey, if I could just make you my girl. And when you walk, you know you let me know that you're so very much together, 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 together. Ooh. And when you talk to me, honey, you know you make me feel lighter than a feather. I've never known it, but I've always wanted the best in life. And if I had you, honey, I know that I could forget about the rest in life. I can't conceal, no, the way I feel. You're about a head turner, you're about a soul runner. Hey you with the curly bush on your head, baby. You know you're looking good, you know you're looking good, you know you're looking good. Soul sister, 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 sister. Ooh. And hey you with the bad hip boots on, little girl, girl. You're the baddest in the world. It sure would be nice, honey, honey, if I could just make you my girl.
The Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson. You know what they've done to us? You know the brainwash they've given us? It's great. The slop that we've been fed over the last 5 months of this offseason, and namely in the last 2 months around Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. It's the Stephen A. Smith meme. The we don't care. It's the we don't care. We have been fooled. We have been bamboozled into every day talking about Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders and the last remaining major quarterback battle in the National Football League. Everybody else effectively has their roster figured out. And Deshaun Watson is now deadlocked in a battle with Shedeur Sanders. And maybe for Shedeur last year, who had an 18.6 QBR. If your QBR can be an ACT score, that's bad. Maybe for Shedeur Sanders, we could have rushed him into the National Football League. Did we give him a little bit too much responsibility too fast last year? Is that why Deshaun Watson is getting a possible nod this season? Did we rush J.J. McCarthy a little bit too much? Could C.J. Stroud have actually used a couple of years? Because he's starting to peter out. That's a question. I think we're asking the same context of like a Fernando Mendoza last night. Because the Raiders still plan to start Kirk Cousins week 1 of the NFL regular season over Fernando Mendoza. So you don't get the shiny new toy, but he gets an opportunity to figure out the NFL a bit before he's thrown into the fire. It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Phone lines, text lines open, 310-840-4910. Let's take you, 310-840-4910 to L.A. George, do you think the Raiders are handling this whole Fernando Mendoza thing right?
No, not at all. They're so backward versus the Rams organization. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
The Rams are quarterback friendly. McVay is a quarterback friendly coach. That's why Ty Simpson looked pretty sharp because he makes plays to help the player do the best as possible. As Mendoza, I mean, I feel sorry for him in the Raiders organization because, you know, you go to the team and they can really get exposed quickly. And he got exposed last night a bit. I mean, I realize he's playing his first team in the first half, basically, but regardless, Ty Simpson looks so much better. But the Rams have an organization that makes you look better. It's just my opinion.
I appreciate that phone call, George. Appreciate you holding on with us through the break as well. And let's break it down now. The Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. You can get in on the action just like George at 310-840-4910. Man, I gave the point to start last segment and to break it down, boil it down pretty quickly, not to flesh it all out again. It's like Christmas morning. You wake up, get a trampoline. Your dad says you can't play with a trampoline. You got to play with your moon shoes. I got the moon shoes 4 Christmases ago. Yeah, I got to play with your moon shoes. I don't want to play with the old toy. I don't want to play with Kirk Cousins. I want Fernando Mendoza. Here's where George is kind of spot on with Fernando Mendoza is it all depends on what house this trampoline was born into. If the trampoline is on a payment plan with Klarna or Affirm or Walmart, if the trampoline is only one of 5 payments down in your house, hey, son, can't have you breaking the trampoline. It's here. You can look at it. It's in the yard. Wave at the trampoline. Don't touch. Because we're on a payment plan with the trampoline. Can't risk that thing getting broken. Or you go to the house where, hey, that trampoline, that how much? What do those cost nowadays? That $1,000 for a trampoline? Yeah, we're not going to miss that money, son. If you break it, we'll buy a new one. Ty Simpson was born into the house with endless trampolines on Christmas morning. Play with whatever you want. We're the Rams. We can afford this. We can develop this. This is a smooth situation. This is a developmental opportunity for Ty Simpson to become a great quarterback. And then on the other side, you have the Cleveland Browns. You just took the trampoline and said, we really couldn't afford it. We don't have any of the infrastructure to support a trampoline. Take that, said Cleveland Browns. You take the Raiders and give them a Fernando Mendoza. They understand they are playing with the fragile egg. Be careful, very careful. We're not the quarterback development franchise. Take it easy. You know, Clint Kubiak has been a part of the development of guys in the NFL like Christian Ponder, Matt Castle, Josh Freeman, Russell Wilson with the Broncos, I guess. Trevor Siemian, Case Keenum, like the list of guys that he's worked with. Sam Darnold is in there for sure. Is kind of capitalized by Kirk Cousins, who is back under the tutelage of Clint Kubiak. He hasn't been this genius quarterback whisperer throughout his NFL career. Doesn't have this long list of future Hall of Famers to his ledger in his coaching career in the National Football League. If you're the Rams, you have the opportunity to treat Ty Simpson with such care because you are the best franchise, arguably, in the National Football League. You're the first franchise to ever have the reigning defensive player of the year and reigning MVP on the same roster, the LA Rams. That shiny new toy, Ty Simpson, he was born into the mansion, into the infrastructure. Fernando Mendoza, Christmas morning rolls around, looks a lot different for him. The Raiders are protecting Fernando Mendoza by not putting him out there week one if they do intend to stick with Kirk Cousins as their option. Because last night, it looked like, to George's point, Fernando Mendoza, the rookie, had been thrown to the Wolves and wasn't ready for it, even in a preseason context. Addy, producer of the Drake Toll Show, which is the thing you're listening to, is Ty Simpson, work with me here, just a trampoline in the backyard of a mansion?
You and this damn trampoline analogy.
I don't know. I got stuck on the trampoline in the first segment, and I was like, you know what? I kind of like that.
Which is why you probably shouldn't be on a trampoline if you're getting stuck, okay? It's very difficult to get stuck on a trampoline.
There are a lot of nets.
I think
bars.
the main difference, and I know I keep going back to this, but I feel like there's some merit to it. The Rams have one of the best O-lines in the entire NFL, and they have a great coach. They do in McVay, and Ty Simpson has a wonderful quarterback who he can look up to as a mentor. Whereas the Raiders, I mean, he has a good quarterback to look up as a mentor, but they also have one of the worst ranked O-lines. They are consistently in the bottom 5 ranked. Like, that's a big thing for a rookie quarterback. I think that the pieces, I will agree with him. The way the Raiders are ran is completely backwards. We know that. There's a reason why they've had so many coaches, so many quarterbacks change over the course of even just the last 5 years.
Pete Carroll.
We know that. Yeah. If Pete, that disaster.
Kinda
Think
crazy,
about it.
yeah.
Just a couple years ago, Jimmy G was their starting quarterback. That's where they were. Okay. Not saying that he's atrocious, but that's just showing where they've been in the past couple of years. So I think the Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza comparison, yes, I would agree. The Rams have more things put in place to make sure young quarterbacks are successful. But at the same time, Fernando Mendoza is just not at the NFL level right now.
310-840-4910. He's live in LA. Roy, what do you got on this?
So my opinion is that you can't compare the two because it's just so different, right? I feel like with the Rams, like Ty Simpson has so much less pressure, right? Because, you know, he knows that Sean McVay can develop him, right?
Mhm.
And also he has a MVP quarterback he can learn from, right? And so I feel like for Mendoza, it's a little different, right? Because you know, situations are different. Raiders don't have the luxury of like a coach that is good at developing quarterbacks. And I feel like also like Kirk Cousins, like, yeah, he's a great quarterback, but he's not Matthew Stafford or even Tom Brady. Like, you know, he's a good veteran, but I don't think that like he's the same as, you know, Ty Simpson. So I really don't think you could compare the two because Ty doesn't have a lot of pressure, but Mendoza is a number 1 pick as well. So like I feel like there's way more pressure to perform, and I think the pressure just got to him.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think there are two different kinds of pressure, but I don't want to relieve the pressure off of Ty Simpson in total because he's feeling what Jordan Love felt when Love got drafted to the Green Bay. It was, hey, we still have Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback, but we need an heir to the throne. There's a ton of pressure on Ty Simpson to be a top 15 pick because Rams fans were not happy. Why would you draft 13th overall to a Super Bowl roster? You're drafting your future quarterback in the first round. Take a guy in the third round and try to develop him. There's a ton of pressure on now Ty Simpson to become the guy, the starting quarterback of the Rams in 3-4 years when Stafford hangs it up. That pressure is there for him to not be the bust that was a waste of a first-round draft pick for Les Snead, the GM of the Rams, who hates draft picks. So there's pressure on Mendoza, pressure on Simpson, and the good part for Simpson is his pressure is going to be applied 3 years from now. For Mendoza, the pressure might be now, or it might be a season from now if Kirk Cousins is able to fulfill his duty as stand-in, fill-in starting quarterback for the Raiders until the young cat, Fernando Mendoza, is ready. It's Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app phone line, text line still open, 310-840-4910. One quarterback battle. I forgot. I told you the Browns are the last major quarterback battle being fought. Another is being waged. And somehow, with one of the quarterbacks in this battle being severed off from the waist down right now, he's still winning the quarterback battle. Let's take you to Atlanta next. It's the Drake Toll Show.
Is Bucks
accompany me. Further on down the road, babe, you will accompany me. When I think back, your love was like the sun, and I don't remember no cold days, darling. I just remember the warm, warm sun. Further on. Than a happy fool I would rather be. Oh, baby, I'll be glad to learn from you. And darling, I know you will be glad to learn from me. And if we get down and things get sad, we can cheer up each other and grin, 'cause things just ain't that bad. If we're fools in life, then a happy fool I would rather be. Day by day, just one step at the time. Woman, you have given me so much just to ease the stubborn old aching heart of mine. I don't care where they came from, and I don't care what they might say. Woman, you've been loving in my corner all the way, day by day. It's the magic of kindness flowing all the time. Further on down the road, baby, you will accompany me. Oh, woman, I'm hoping. Further on down the road, baby, you will accompany me. Oh, baby, can't you hear me praying? When I look back, your love was like the sun, and I don't remember any cold days. I just remember the warm, warm sun. Further on down the road, baby, you will accompany me. Babe, oh babe, oh babe.
You thought I would forget. They thought I would forget how bad Tua Tagovailoa is, but I haven't. Now, I've been on top of this. Over in training camp of the Atlanta Falcons, things have fallen apart. And they were so bad in the Falcons' first preseason game that the Atlanta crowd, the home crowd, booed the team off the field. It's awesome. The passion you have to boo your team out at halftime of a preseason game. Falcons play the Colts tomorrow at Lucas Oil at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Colts 3.5-point favorites in both teams' second preseason game that's coming after the Colts and New England Patriots tied 13-13. Colts played for the tie, 61-yard field goal. Bang! Pats missed a 45-yarder to win it. Awesome. I love preseason. I love reading too far into preseason. 310-840-4910. Phone line, text line open. If you join me in that, watching a preseason game and coming away with too strong of a take, either the 49ers will win the Super Bowl or Fernando Mendoza will be a dud. You know, just like last night, being glued to preseason football, I overreact. I don't think I'm overreacting to the Atlanta Falcons being bad. And you know what? It's a perfect segue for Tua and his friends to be our idiots of the day.
Idiot of the day.
The Indianapolis Colts yesterday posted their defensive highlights from joint practice with the Atlanta Falcons. And it's just a low-light reel of Tua Tagovailoa over and over and over. There is a world where Michael Penix Jr., who cannot play right now due to a torn ACL from last year, Michael Penix Jr., who has not had two working legs in a long time since his final year of his collegiate career at Washington, where Penix is still in the running despite not playing at all during training camp, and again, having a torn ACL. Kevin Stefanski, the head coach of the Falcons, former head coach of the Browns, first year in Atlanta, has mentioned the quarterback battle is ongoing. You've got one guy who has no legs and another in Tua Tagovailoa who has been injury-prone throughout his time in the NFL, who are duking it out. And Tua cannot even be named the starter despite being the only one to take a snap or throw a pass. How bad do you have to be in a quarterback battle where you're the only player who can feasibly play, and yet it's still a battle because you've been that bad? Welcome to the Tua Tagovailoa experience. Addie Bates produces. It is the Drake Toll Show, our idiots of the day. Addie, Tua Tagovailoa and the Atlanta Falcons. It's not going too hot.
Oh, man, I just encourage anyone when you're not driving to look up some of these lowlights from Tua at practice. It's not even like there's pressure on him. His footwork looks atrocious. It does look like he's doing some awkward two-step out there and then throwing some interceptions whenever he feels like it. It's pretty bad out there. So Michael Penix Jr., who is basically, you know, for the sake of it, he's dead. Like, he's on the sidelines, and they're like, you know what? Prop him up. We want him instead. They would probably prefer to have that because Tua is not all there. We're already back to Tua turn the ball over.
Falcons open the year at Pittsburgh, week 1. Loss. Carolina at home. Loss. At Green Bay, at New Orleans. Oh, boy, this could really unravel. Especially when their slate following that is Chicago, San Francisco, and at Tampa Bay. Season total, take the under on the Falcons in 2026. It's our idiots of the day on the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. You get to be an idiot of the day, even though he did throw a pick 6 last night and didn't look very good. You get to be an idiot of the day if you don't love Fernando Mendoza. Here's what he had to say at halftime to Laura Rutledge last night during the Raiders game.
I think there were a lot of learning moments tonight. Evidently, it's not exactly the outing that, you know, our offense wanted, but there's still a lot of time left in the clock, so hopefully the boys can get it done and get a W for us.
Interesting. Do we have the Fernando Mendoza with Joe Buck on ESPN last night?
Please do. And please tell Mr. Buck I say hello.
Oh, we love it. There you go. What about Mr. Aikman?
Oh, of course. I mean, he's a legend, you know. I think Mr. Buck needs some more love because, I mean, Mr. Aikman's already, you know.
Well said, Fernando. You nailed it.
Thank you. God bless.
Back to you guys.
See, there it is. Back to Mr. Buck. That's the stuff. I mean, he is unique.
Please tell Mr. Buck that I said hello. Thank you, Fernando. You can't hate the kid. You really can't hate the kid. I think he has a couple screws loose, though.
My favorite part is at the very end they go, he is unique. When I say unique, that is my very nice way of saying like, oh, you're something.
Bless their heart.
Yes, for the Southerners out there. So polite. I do miss that. I do love that. So if there are any haters out there, I'll fight you. I will. Okay? And I'm only 5'3", so watch out.
Dead today, Jacob Fields. The TCU safety was dismissed from the program. You probably never heard of Jacob Fields. That's okay. Projected starter at safety for TCU. After he committed assault in the locker room, and it was reported to police. Per college FB portal, sources say wide receiver Dozie Ezukanma was beaten in the locker room by Jacob Fields and remains hospitalized. Ezukanma is unlikely to play in the August 29th opener. Both players were projected starters for TCU. The event was preceded by alleged spitting, and that the two had gone weeks on end at each other's throats, and the coaching staff had not put an end to this. Now, Ezukanma is in the hospital and will likely not make the trip overseas to play against North Carolina and Bill Belichick. This has now been picked up by every major outlet, and it's a Louisiana Tech transfer in Fields who was going to be the starting free safety. He appeared in 36 games at La Tech, and his career is likely over. Addie, you played college ball. Any spitting and assaulting at Valparaiso?
I can't say that was happening, but what I'm hearing is he's good to play for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yes. Actually, this is even better in the context of the Seattle Seahawks, who just signed Terrion Arnold, who is facing 8 felony charges for kidnapping and robbery. And the Seahawks said, give me that. I should have got that. I want that. Give me that. Looks like there's another option for Seattle to bolster the secondary. The guy's got the goods. Our final idiot of the day. MLB reporters. The Stephen Woods tweets, maybe something happens, maybe it doesn't. But you can't deny that it's incredibly weird that Ken and Jeff and Bob, who tweet about the Dodgers more than their beat writers, have not said a single word about anything related to the latest financial scandal in MLB, that being the Dodgers owner Mark Walter. Addie from MLB Network, have the biggest names in baseball reporting, Ken Rosenthal, Jeff Passan, Bob Nightingale, avoided one of the biggest topics in baseball?
It's really interesting because anybody who knows Jeff Passan, you could have 30 followers, and if you tweet at him, he'll respond to you. And he tweets all the time. So yesterday he tweets that the Mariners are calling up one of their prospects, Kate Anderson, and everybody's like, hey, I feel like there's some other news we're avoiding here. And it is interesting. If you look up everything that's going on, the only people reporting on it are these investigative journalists for The Athletic or for Front Office Sports or for the Wall Street Journal. People who are uncovering big things that are happening in the world, not just in sports. So it is super fishy. You kind of have to wonder, are they treading water? Is it because of who they work for? Are they buddy-buddies? Like, everything is super fishy. And honestly, Passan is one of those big ones who back in February was like, hey, everybody can spend like them. He had stuff come out that said, like, hey, everybody can do this. And now he's wrong. And usually when people call him out, he'll respond. So the fact that he didn't, uh-oh.
Final idiot of the day. I've got an addendum to this. It just came across my desk. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones spotted a Hollywood tour bus and stopped to speak with the passengers. Jones shared some powerful life advice, quote, go where your passion is. Because I don't feel like I've ever worked a day since I've been with the Cowboys.
All right. Wow.
Jerry Jones stopping a Hollywood tour bus saying, is this for me? Is this about me? Did you guys bring the bus around for Jerry? Thanks, big guy. Like, do you think anybody on the bus is like, who the hell's the old man?
Average old person moment right there.
Wait, excuse me. Stop the bus. You're right. It's me, Gary Jones. Thank you all for stopping by. I got life advice. Follow your passions. Addie Bates produces. Roy Lee runs the board. Those are your idiots of the day. The phone line, the text line is still open at 310-840-4910, 310-840-4910. You know, you can listen live, Sirius XM 375, the Drake Toll Show YouTube channel, or the Westwood One Sports app. On that topic, the Dodgers possibly having to sell the franchise. Mark Walter, the owner, being in hot water, and $17 billion missing, and now the United States government wants it found. They want it allocated. What the hell is going on in Los Angeles? Daniel Roberts from Front Office Sports joins the Drake Toll Show.
This is
The Los Angeles Dodgers, owner Mark Walter, and $17 billion. It's been days on end now of stories that have followed Walter since his sale of the Lakers a week ago. And folks who are digging into the conspiracy theories around this, or just the straight up around this, and an investigation going on right now into Walter's ventures and whether or not his ownership status with the LA Dodgers is at stake. It is the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This is far beyond my pay grade and has been this week, as you and I have tried to unravel it together. And that's why joining us now, thanks for being up early with us, Daniel Roberts, Front Office Sports, helping us break down what exactly is going on as it pertains to Mark Walter, the now former owner of the Lakers, owner of the Dodgers. Daniel, I've been waiting all week to ask someone this. Please explain this to me like I'm 5, if you will.
Okay, I think I can, although it might be above my pay grade as well. And let me start by just reminding everyone, and this always happens with reports of a team sale. You said former owner. Well, it has to close first. You know, the sale has to close. And we can talk about separately whether the Genie Bus drama with the Bus brothers will get in the way of that. But here's how I've been explaining it to people. And for years, I was in the crypto space. And everyone remembers the collapse of FTX, that big company. It sort of has shades of that, although I should be careful because it might not be illegal. But certainly federal regulators did not like the lack of disclosure. Basically, Mark Walter owns a web of insurance companies.
Yeah.
And these companies were lending money to each other without disclosing that. So if Mark Walter does a loan from company A to company B, and Mark Walter owns both companies, then Mark Walter is essentially loaning money to himself. And as much as that seems like, well, that sounds shady, it may not be illegal. These are called affiliated investments. And you just have to disclose them properly to the government, which he did not do. And in fact, they've been under investigation for over a year. Recent filings came out. In June, there were grand jury subpoenas that said you need to disclose and refile all these loans and investments and make clear that one company was giving it to the other and both were part of Mark Walter's business empire. When they did that and restated their filings, the amount of affiliated investments from one of his insurers, Delaware Life, went up from 3% of its business to 40% of its business.
Oh.
From 1.5 billion to 17 billion in loans from one company to another, both of which he owns. So here's what's really fascinating. A decade ago, in 2014, he was about to be sued. There was a filing, basically a threat of a coming class action lawsuit for doing exactly this, using funds from customer life insurance policies to make investments. And then they dropped the lawsuit 2 days later, and it sure sounds like there was a settlement because the attorney on that threatened class action told Front Office Sports, my client was very happy with the result. That's all I can say. So in other words, a decade ago, he knew that he needed to stop doing this, and it seems like he kept doing it.
I am, as I've picked apart this whole deal, one of the pieces, and before we get into the Lakers side of this, the Dodgers side of this, the other professional sports ventures that Walter has his hands in, the part that I think I'm still trying to wrap my head around here, Daniel, is the whole I own multiple companies that are giving money to each other. I'm from a small town in Arkansas called Valonia. We labeled that fraud. What keeps that from being fraud as it pertains to the government in this situation?
Well, insurance companies all the time use the principle from customer policies to do other business. I mean, that's sort of how they do their business.
Yeah.
If you think about banks, they're using your funds all the time to make investments. They just need to be able to give you your money when you ask for it, right? So as long as there's not some giant market shock event that would mean that a Mark Walter insurer doesn't have the money to pay out a customer policy, when the time comes, then hypothetically it should be okay. And again, it's not clear that it seems like he broke the law because the feds in New York and also the SEC have investigated and done subpoenas and stormed, one of his planes and asked for people's phones. But it's really just a filing issue. So, it's as juicy as this all seems and as scandalous as it seems, and there's an obvious liquidity crunch, obviously, where he's trying to make up for the shortfall by selling assets. There's a world in which, he claws back whatever the shortfall is because they're basically saying you have to pay back these loans from company A to company B, both of which he owns. There's a world in which, 2 years later, we never really hear about this and that he's not going to jail.
Yep.
Again, you just have to disclose exactly what you're doing. But the fact that he didn't obviously looks like he was trying to hide it, especially, again, the fact that he did this 10 years ago. He might have been doing this for the last 10 years.
Yeah, in Valonia, Arkansas, we didn't have much of the private plane. We take your cell phone and laptop. There wasn't as much of that in the homeland. But I'm as I've wrapped my mind around kind of the figures that go along with this. Walter's selling the Lakers at $12.5 billion, and as you mentioned, now it looks like just me putting two and two together is we might have $17 billion tied to the Lakers and Dodgers owner that is either misappropriated, unaccounted for, that we're looking for to attach. And so in the midst of that, Guy sells the Lakers. I'm putting the two and two together that it seems like Walter is not going to shy away from having some extra cash in his pocket right now in case that $17 billion has to show up tomorrow. If that is the case, as the numbers go, as a valuation for a franchise like the Dodgers goes, what are the odds that Walter has to go a step further and sell the Dodgers on top of the Lakers?
I think they look pretty good, frankly.
Wow.
Now he doesn't personally own the majority, but when the news first dropped, there was some sort of sense from people who were trying to downplay the story of it's just the Lakers. And in fact, Stan Kasten was talking to reporters and said, this is a Lakers story. This has nothing to do with the Dodgers. Dodgers are not for sale. And then by early the next week, Ramona Shelburne at ESPN, who first broke this story and has been covering the Lakers for decades, she said in a hit, the Dodgers are not for sale. They're not for sale. Although from what I hear, he would certainly entertain a big offer for the Dodgers, just like happened with the Lakers if one came along. Well, gee, ding, 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 right? I mean, that sure sounds like they're for sale. And as I always like to say, every team is always for sale. You don't need to be out there saying, I want to sell the team in order to get a sudden offer. Someone was recently saying that they got a huge offer for, it was Stephen Ross, maybe 8 months ago, said that he got some crazy $15 billion offer for the Dolphins, but he's not selling. He's going to keep it in the family. And I'm sure $15 billion is what some of the more valuable NFL teams would sell for right now. And by the way, to those who are saying it's only a Lakers story, well, then just a few days later came news that he is in talks to sell his minority stake in Chelsea, the English football club. So it seems a little bit like everything must go, right? And what else does he own? He owns two F1 teams, and he also owns basically all of the PWHL, which is the Pro Women's Hockey League. I mean, the championship trophy is named the Walter Cup.
Yeah.
So at some point, he's going to decide that he's gotten enough money back. But, when something like this happens, he also might just want to, crawl away from public life. I mean, this is, it's not great. And as I said to our newsroom, the drip, drip, drip became a flood of kind of troubling news and revelations in all this.
Daniel Roberts is joining us from Front Office Sports on the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, talking Mark Walter, the owner of the Dodgers, and the future of the Dodgers ownership, as Walter could be in hot water with, the United States government. Again, Daniel, when I was in college at Baylor, I avoided math classes to the extent that the only class I took that was even related to math was called Ideas in Mathematics. And we would meet for 3 hours a week and talk about what it could be like if we did math. As it pertains to the numbers game, I struggle. And you've helped break down the figures of this for Mark Walter, who, again, is offloading more assets and has more money in his back pocket. But if I'm going to ask the question that I think, if the average cat in Fargo, North Dakota, driving in their car, and I'm that average cat more days than not, that I'd want to know is, Is there a chance the owner of the Dodgers, Mark Walter, goes to prison over this? How deep could this go for a Dodgers fan who's wondering, like, man, is my franchise in trouble top down now?
It doesn't seem likely. I mean, anything could happen. But the fact that on its face, affiliated investments are not illegal, you just need to disclose. And the fact that, they've been investigating for over a year. And as I understand it, as part of the investigation, he had to refile and reclassify all of these loans, and he did that. Now it seems to me the focus is more on this shortfall where, go through every single company in this web that you own. How many of their holdings are affiliated investments? So again, for those who just joined, loans are investments from one company to another, and they're both part of the same ownership. So they're all under the Mark Walter umbrella. And then repay those loans. So the latest figure was $17 billion, and that's just from Delaware Life. I saw out there somewhere as high as $20 billion. So let's just say, again, hypothetically, that he needs to get $20 billion in liquidity. You can sort of keep adding up the amounts of these sports assets that he owns. That's the first thing that goes, right? And so you get some amount from the Lakers. Again, he personally is not getting $12.5 billion because he just owns the majority of the team. There's still some minority investors who are staying on. There's Patrick Soon-Shiong, who owns the LA Times, by the way. There's the Bus family, right? And now they're talking about selling their stake, although Jeannie doesn't want to sell. So it's not as simple as Mark Walter just got $12.5 billion, but he got some number of billions by selling the Lakers, or is about to get it. How much more would he need to sell to get to that $20 billion shortfall, right? And then you get into the Dodgers. I mean, MLB, these numbers are a lot lower than NBA and NFL, but the Dodgers are number one. I mean, it's the crown jewel. And by the way, they're coming off of back-to-back World Series titles, as you know, and they might do it again. And they've got a pretty hefty, expensive payroll with deferred payments. And to one guy in particular, the best player in baseball. So probably if the Dodgers were to sell, it would fetch a record price for a team. And it would also need to go to someone who has the money.
Look,
pretty big sale.
This Daniel, if I was going to read the Odyssey, it would take me 3 years. The movie, despite being 3 hours, which is long within its own right, was at least enough to digest in 3 hours. You just gave me the Odyssey movie of the Mark Walter situation. I can finally digest in a small amount what the hell is going on in Los Angeles, and that's exactly the perspective we needed. Daniel Roberts from Front Office Sports at Read Dan Wright on Twitter. Daniel, thanks so much for your time, your perspective, up early with us this morning on an owner who who helped build the Dodgers into what they are, who this time next year may not own the Dodgers. This was perfect.
Thank you. Let's see what happens next because it keeps developing.
Man, that's great stuff. Again, at Read Dan Wright on Twitter. You can follow Daniel Roberts, who just joined the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Okay. Okay. Did you catch the last part there? Will Mark Walter, the owner of the Dodgers, go to prison? Answer is probably not. Can I put a pin in that for a second? What you also might be asking yourself, here's what I would ask myself. If I'm driving in my car today in Greenville, South Carolina, listening to the radio, Boise, Idaho, listening to the radio, if I'm driving in Sacramento, I would ask myself, why should I care about an owner? Because if I asked you, hey, who owns the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Who owns the Texas Rangers? Who owns the Portland Trailblazers? If I asked you to answer, who owns the Minnesota Vikings? Could you give a name for those, right? Could you give a name for the owner of the Bills? Well, we get paid in radio to do so. We get paid to know these people, to interview these people, to be around these people. But the average everyday guy, if I ask my dad, name 5 owners of professional sports teams, I don't know if he could do it. But dad just watches football, right? So maybe the question is, and why to put a pin in this whole thing, maybe you're asking, why does it matter who owns the Dodgers? Why does it matter who owns the Lakers? What does that change from my viewing experience and the way that I see those franchises? Well, oddly enough, for the Dodgers, and especially in Major League Baseball, it is huge who owns these teams. The willingness to spend the most money in baseball, the willingness to spend $480 million on a roster starts with an owner's willingness to spend in Major League Baseball. Because there's no salary cap, the question is, how much money does our owner have? Not the GM, not the coach. How much money does the owner have to shell out? How much money can this market sustain to shell out to the players? The owners in Major League Baseball, they matter so incredibly. And Mark Walter is an orchestrator of why the Los Angeles Dodgers are dominating Major League Baseball. So the answer is Walter, unpin. Walter is probably not going to prison. But if Walter needs to make up $17 to $20 billion to give the government, who's like, hey, we're missing $17 billion. And Walter's like, oh, okay, I'll raise that really quick, give you $17 billion and avoid prison time. If that's what happens, the Dodgers are likely somewhere in there as an entity of Walters that gets sold. Addy, am I on MLB Network's own Addy Bates? Am I on base with baseball ownership is far more important than maybe any other professional franchise?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when this is a sport where the rules are kind of different from everything else. There are less regulations, there are less rules. That's why we are about to go probably into a lockout. The owners have a lot of power in baseball. And so to see this kind of stuff going on, especially when you have everybody like, oh, everybody, do what the Dodgers are doing, do this. And you're seeing, oh, wait, maybe the owners shouldn't have this much say, this much power over an organization because it's a hot mess. That's what it is right now. It is a hot mess.
Let's take you from Major League Baseball to the NFL. We're not done with the Dodgers today. The rest of this hour will be covering Mark Walter, the Dodgers, the possible sale of the Dodgers. But in football, one rookie quarterback got his shot on national television last night and blew it. Is this indicative of what we'll get from Fernando Mendoza in 2026? I'll answer that question next. It's Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show.
Hey lady, got the love I need. Baby, more than enough. Oh, darling, 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 walk a while with me. Oh, you got so much, so much, so much.
Fernando. Don't do it. Don't go on national TV and lay an egg. Last night, I did I'm recording right now live from Savannah, Georgia. And when I have the opportunity to, if I'm home on a Thursday, I go to Nikki's, this little bar on the water out on Tybee Island. And they have crab legs on Thursdays. 2 pounds for $45. Beat that, you can't. You just can't. And I went there to watch the game last night thinking, I'm so excited to wake up tomorrow and talk Fernando Mendoza on the national radio. The Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Phone lines, text lines still open, 310-840-4910. And first quarter rolls in. Here comes Fernando Mendoza, ESPN's coverage, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman. Come on, Laura Rutledge. Hi, Laura. Good to see you. And then Fernando Mendoza was just bad. He wasn't very good. Hustle, yeah. Grit, sure. All the words that we use for generic NFL quarterback, generic football player. Oh, yeah. Hit the nail on the head there, didn't you, Fernando? But if you really boil it down to, did Fernando Mendoza look good? The answer is no. He finished the night 8 for 15, 86 yards, and a pick. No touchdowns. That pick was a pick six. As heard on ESPN last night from Joe Buck, here's Fernando Mendoza letting the Texans defense go 80 yards to pay dirt.
Daston Genty. Play action from Mendoza, and he comes back over the middle, and he's picked off. Wood as the rookie. Mendoza trying to track him down and cannot. Pick six.
Hustle, grit, determination. All the words we love to use for quarterbacks. That's what it looked like when Fernando Mendoza threw an interception. And then after throwing the interception, starts sprinting back. I'm going to get him. I'll catch him, guys. I got it. Don't worry. I got it. He didn't have it. Texans had a 20-3 lead at halftime. Texans had a 17-0 lead going into the second quarter. And Mendoza looked lost. What's worse is Mendoza's offensive line looked lost. A couple minutes later, as heard on ESPN, sacked.
Really a great year for everyone. Mendoza keeps. He's in trouble, and down he goes. Wrestled to the ground by Aidan McDonald. The second-round pick.
Uh-oh. Pick six, followed by a sack. And Fernando Mendoza, by halftime, where his night ended, did not look like the quarterback that was drafted number 1 overall, won a Heisman Trophy, went 16-0, beat Alabama in the playoffs 38-3 last year at the Rose Bowl. But I didn't see that Fernando Mendoza last night. And maybe it raises the question, which gives you an opportunity to respond, 310-840-4910. Am I overreacting to a preseason game? Or when you're playing half your drives against plumbers and insurance salesmen and the other half against ones and twos out of the National Football League, should I have high expectations for Fernando Mendoza in a preseason game? I personally don't think it's an overreaction. I know it's not an overreaction. I know it's not to say Fernando Mendoza was bad last night. He was bad. That is the reaction. Possible overreaction to say it's indicative of any type of season Mendoza will have. That's where I can reason with you. When you say, okay, it's one preseason game, lay off on the kid. But again, I know as a fan of the NFL, as a fan of a franchise, the first time you get national TV, ESPN, Thursday night, standalone game, everybody watching, you would like your rookie, your first overall pick, to do something. Poke the guy. Come on, do something cool. Didn't do anything cool. But you know what? If one thing never changes, it's Fernando Mendoza knowing how to win an interview. Here is Fernando at halftime on his first half that was disastrous.
I think there were a lot of learning moments tonight. Evidently, it's not exactly the outing that, our offense wanted, but there's still a lot of time left in the clock, so hopefully the boys can get it done and get a W for us.
Addy, he sounds apparently
Barely.
Never been on live TV before.
It wasn't really the
Little
outing we wanted.
redheaded kid. Evidently, it wasn't a great first half. Like, what?
I love his positivity. Because
Okay, sure.
Okay,
but
keep going.
Come on. Come on. You wouldn't hear, and it's tough, but I like to compare. You're the first overall draft pick. You would not hear a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, a Matthew Stafford when they're down 20-3. I know it's preseason. When they're down 20-3, threw a pick six, had a bad first half, walk up to Laura Rutledge and say, well, evidently things didn't really go our way in the first half. No, I don't. That's where I go from, cute, Fernando Mendoza. He always wins the press conference, wins the interview. It goes from cute to kind of like, all right, dude, shut up and play football.
Oh, okay. Wow. Just shut up and dribble. I get
I mean,
it.
like,
No,
hey,
I think that you're just like reading too far into a preseason game. I don't want him to go out there and be like,
that's
yeah, I
fine.
look like garbage. Like, and you know what? Like, it's okay. Like, he said it. Like, I hope the boys can go out there and get a win for us. Like, he's just being positive in that moment. And I think that's what he needed because he knows deep down. He knows, the team knows, Clint Kubiak spoke on it. Like, he did not perform well. He did not. But here's what I want to ask you this, because I know you're really high on Fernando Mendoza. And I think if you go back to Indiana, their style of play, a lot of shotgun formation. So, of course, like, he's going to be further back in the pocket. But what I think's happening now is how that it's exposing him to these elite defenses. They can obviously, you're telling them, hey, this is going to be a pass play. And then he's already doing that. Anytime he's about to pass the ball, look at his hands, he'll smack that ball, and then he'll go. His feet are pretty much planted, and he's not good at manipulating the defense. Wherever he's looking, that is exactly where he's going to go. So I think this combination here, that's what's happening here, why he's not performing to the level that you want him to. I think that shotgun formation and his quarterback style of play was great in college. That's very common in college. But I think for the NFL right now, he's got to stay positive because what he's doing at this moment is not working.
For Fernando Mendoza, I'm not going to pretend he was playing with plumbers and lawyers in college because they went 16-0, won a national championship. But Indiana didn't have. So this is your question here about the comparison of college game versus the NFL game. What I thought was so impressive about Fernando is he was still playing in Indiana. Like, let's take for example, college basketball. No one's used to, say, Wake Forest being good. If tomorrow Wake Forest goes 40-0, you're like, what the hell? It would make, we would spend years. Like, remember that weird ass Wake Forest team that went undefeated? That's the equivalent of what Indiana football just did. Okay. Now that we're there and remind ourselves of how wild it is that Indiana was good, Fernando Mendoza wasn't playing with the horses that an Ohio State has. He wasn't playing with the horses that an Oregon or an LSU or an Alabama. He was still playing at Indiana under Curt Cignetti and a bunch of transfers from James Madison and helped will a great college football team. Not a team riddled with NFL guys like 2019 LSU. Helped a great college football team win. I think if you take his college game, the caliber of athlete that he was around, he was able to elevate those guys and their consistency, their age. I mean, they're one of the oldest teams in college football. Everything pointed to them being a great college football team. I do think you're spot on. The adjustment to the National Football League is something where Fernando Mendoza looks around and goes, oh, like, yeah, I mean, when in college playing against defenses from even Miami, right? There might be 5 or 6 NFL guys, future NFL players on a Miami defense. In the NFL, there are 11 guys on the field right now who are NFL caliber players on defense. And that adjustment for Fernando Mendoza is not the same. It is not the adjustment that happened for a CJ Stroud or a Jaden Daniels. Like, we knew kind of at this time, like, oh, damn, those dudes are dominating camp going into the rookie campaigns. They're dominating preseason. They get the starting nod. I don't see that from Fernando Mendoza, who in his jump to the NFL, you're right, looks uncomfortable. It looks like there's something off. And this is not even, we're not even to the regular season yet when you're facing the ones on every down. He's still facing guys who are trying to prove themselves with the Houston Texans last night. And it's not there yet. Maybe that's where Clint Kubiak's the genius. It doesn't need to be there yet. Because Kirk Cousins is the starting quarterback, was named the starting quarterback. He's going to be the starting quarterback. I thought that would take a bit of pressure off Mendoza and he could perform maybe more clear-minded. It hasn't done that yet. Overreaction, maybe, but I'm still like, I I wanted him to be a C.J. Stroud, Jaden Daniels level of rookie quarterback.
This is a classic case of we're going to put him on a pedestal, and so then once he doesn't perform to this, what we wanted him to look like, we're going to just tear him down. This is exactly in college football last year with Arch Manning. This is exactly what happened. And then he started off slow and, worked his way to the season. And that's what I think, Fernando, that's why I keep reiterating, he does need to sit. He does. And I really think that he could benefit from learning from Kubiak and his offense, because we know he did transform that Seahawks offense, a Seahawks offense that struggled. And then they got a Sam Darnold, the Jackson Smith and Jigma, like these players, he helped coach them to be a Super Bowl caliber team. He did. And so I think under Kirk Cousins, I think under Clint Kubiak, I think we can fix some of these things that happened in college. Like, hey, we don't want to be like a Vince Young where this worked in college. Your style of play works in college and it will not work in the NFL. That's the worst thing that could happen. And so I think that's why he needs to rest and learn before we just throw him out to the wolves.
That's why I brought up the roster at Indiana. It's not like Fernando Mendoza. I mean, him making this kind of jump. Cam Newton, when Cam was at Auburn, it was just the Cam Newton show. It had to be Cam Newton. At Indiana, they had built this kind of perfect storm roster of none of you, only a handful of you are true NFL, future all-pro caliber. Whereas in Ohio State had, 5 first-round draft picks? Like in Indiana, only a few of you are future bona fide NFL players. And Fernando is just in a system. Like we're going to have to ask the question pretty quickly for Fernando Mendoza if his play time begins to increase in 2026. Is he a system quarterback? That's what Joel in North Carolina asks. 310-840-4910. He says, I haven't been sold on Mendoza ever since his days at Cal. He was an RPO merchant last season in Indiana, had help from Omar Cooper and Surratt, as well as a great offensive line. Last night didn't exactly make me feel better about him in the NFL. Not to say he won't be able to succeed, but it certainly isn't an encouraging start. Omar Cooper Jr. at wide receiver, as well as Elijah Surratt at wide receiver, the two referenced there by Joel in North Carolina. You can call or text the show, 310-840-4910. I want to reiterate, it's not like Mendoza had the wealth of riches people want to tell you he did. Like, oh, he's jumping from Indiana and it was made for him that he was all set there. A bunch of NFL guys. Like, no, Fernando Mendoza's adjustment to the NFL and adjustment to NFL life from a college system that was built for Fernando Mendoza is going to be tough. And that was showcased again last night. And Kirk Cousins is still the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. Maybe they're protecting Fernando Mendoza, something his offensive line can't do. 310-840-4910. Expectations this year. Let's wrap Raiders here. Expectations for the Raiders this year. Addy, I'll give you their opening couple of games. They go Miami, then the Chargers, then the Saints on the road, followed by Kansas City. Listen to this. Listen to this run. They get Kansas City, New England, Buffalo, and Los Angeles. 4 straight weeks. Chiefs, Patriots, Bills, Rams. Brutal for Fernando Mendoza and company.
I think they got to win at Miami. I think that's a solid win. I know you're high on the Bucks, but I feel like Kellen Moore and the Saints are looking pretty good this season, this preseason at least. They're $500,000 less in the bank than they were, a couple days ago, but because they're fighting with the Cowboys. But I think there's one win in there. I do think the one win is Miami, and other than that, if they do beat the Saints, I think it'll be close. But other than that, that's a gauntlet. That is a gauntlet.
Week 1 and November, you get the Chargers, the Saints, the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Bills, the Rams. And then you get the Jets. That's better. So the Dolphins and the Jets are the only two teams I can confirm in the first half of the season for the Raiders. Those are the only two teams I can confirm will be ass this year. The rest of those are or can be good. Not to mention Seattle and Denver and San Francisco that loom after that Jets game. The Raiders might not win 5 games. It's a pretty brutal schedule.
That is
not very fun. Yeah, why did we do this to the Raiders? Why whose idea was to do this to the Raiders?
Why are we bullying Fernando Mendoza? Why would we do this to them?
That's so bad. Oh. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. 310-840-4910. Phone line, text line still open. Joel, appreciate your text. Thanks for being with us. Mark Walter is going to have to sell the Dodgers. Yeah. he's going to have to sell the Dodgers. And that is going to derail the momentum the franchise has built atop Major League Baseball. I'll explain more next. It's Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show.
got a sweet little body and she's rolling in the caddy with me.
The LA Dodgers impending sale? That is, maybe one of the most important storylines out of what's happening in LA right now with Mark Walter, who owned the Lakers, majority owner of the Lakers, who had to sell. What do you mean had to sell? Guy who just is now in the process of selling his stake in Chelsea. Had to sell. What do you mean had to sell? The same guy who owns the Dodgers, who might have to sell the Dodgers. Can you please explain what you mean have to sell? Why would anybody be, what would someone need to sell for? Well, the United States government, the SEC, the FBI, they are all investigating Mark Walter, the owner of the Dodgers, for $17 billion that may have been misappropriated, $17 billion that we don't really know where it is. $17 billion between Walter's own companies that was, for all intents and purposes here, not clarified to the government why it was spent and where it was spent. Checked off. That's not good. And it's even worse for the fact that in Major League Baseball, the owner matters so much. Walter can be credited. Like, Walter at times has been a hero and heralded in LA for helping build the Dodgers into what they are. No doubt about it, Walter gets credit for being the owner who is willing to spend more than anybody else in Major League Baseball, the owner who is willing to do this. And the Dodgers have taken advantage of the opportunities that Major League Baseball has given the Dodgers in the last 15 years. What the hell does that mean? What do you mean giving the Dodgers? What do you mean opportunities Major League Baseball has given the Dodgers? Well, the Dodgers filed for bankruptcy in 2012. And after Walter bought the team, the Dodgers said, hey, we're going to sign a super lucrative local TV deal. And instead of having to give all of our money from the local TV deal into the big pot in the middle where everybody else gets to share the money from our TV deal, MLB, we just filed for bankruptcy. Can we please maybe keep that money? And Major League Baseball said, fine, we'll give the Dodgers a break. And I'm not mad. I mean, there are people who are, oh, the only reason the Dodgers are winning is because Major League Baseball. Because they don't make them pay all the money in their TV deal. Does it give the Dodgers an advantage? Yes, it does. That's why they were given the break. That's why it's called a break. It gives the Dodgers an advantage. But nobody's invested more. Nobody's put together maybe a better organization in professional sports than the Dodgers in the last 10 years. And Walter is at the forefront of that. But we may not have reported all of our financials correctly. We may need to come up with $17 billion to appease the United States government all of a sudden. That might throw a wrench in your whole owning the Dodgers thing. Now, what you're also asking yourself, it's like, all right, how does that affect the Dodgers this year? How does it affect Edwin Diaz being bad, Kyle Tucker being bad? How does it affect Freddie Freeman being good, Max Muncy just robbing the clock and still dominating in Major League Baseball? It doesn't. Mark Walter doesn't. None of that affects for the Dodgers. If you're a Padres fan, you're like, good, yes. Diamondbacks fan, nice, awesome. Giants fan, cool, great. This is the downfall of the Dodgers. Not yet. Not yet. This will have no bearing, no effect on what the Dodgers do in 2026. But the sale of this team could lead to the Dodgers filing for bankruptcy again. There's a reason they filed in 2012. A professional sport in Los Angeles, no less, a professional sports team filing for bankruptcy with all the money and all the deferred contracts. And we're going to pay Shohei Ohtani, just not yet. We're going to pay him later. We're going to pay our best players down the line. We're just going to win a lot first. My question is, how, when you get to 2036 and the owner who brokered all these deals, the management who brokered all these deals, you're at 2048 still paying millions of dollars for a Shohei Ohtani. Who's going to pay that money? If Mark Walter is, I don't know, in prison, or if Mark Walter had to sell you to make up $17 billion to give to the United States government, that's probably not good for your long term and the long game here for the Dodgers. Addie, are we seeing the initial dominoes of a Dodgers collapse 5-10 years down the line?
Absolutely. And I know you kind of said this. You said it won't impact them this year. That is correct. But next year, we'll have to see what happens after the lockout. But the big thing The big contract in there is Shohei Ohtani's and that key man clause. So if Walter sells the team, or if one of their executives, Andrew Friedman, goes, Ohtani can enact that clause, which says, hey, I'm leaving. I'm out. And that would hurt the Dodgers. Things like that. If other players saw that and want to put a key man clause into their contracts, that's what's going to hurt the Dodgers. But that off the bat should have been super telling, like, wait a minute. Why would you put something in your contract that says, hey, if you sell the team, when you're signing with the team who you think seemingly is successful, why would he sell it? Like, everything about that for me just smells fishy. And so, correct, it will not impact this year. Whatever happens this year is what happens, but it won't even just affect the Dodgers down the line. I mean, this is almost a guaranteed way for everybody to go, see, this is why we need a salary cap. And we already know, again, the players do not want that. So what's going to happen is whatever negotiations we thought, wherever we thought they were, we are all way off. This benefits no one. This is bad news for baseball fans, players, owners, everyone. No one is winning from this happening.
There's a world, and this is alleged. This is me kind of putting two and two together. There's a world where out of that $17 billion, would you be shocked if some of that money's in Mark Walter's pocket? Because I wouldn't be surprised if $17 billion, it's billion, $17 billion is missing, and it's missing because Walter has stowed some away. And maybe that's why the Dodgers have been so willing to pay. Like, hey, we got kind of like this endless money tree that's kind of called fraud going on back here. If we keep doing this, we can keep paying players. And now that's come to light. Probably not good if you're the Dodgers. It is Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. 310-840-4910. Happy Friday. Let's do something new. It is time for this day in sports history. Addy Bates gives an event, and I'm going to give you the year, and they will all be perfectly correct. Good morning, Addy.
Good morning. Wow, I like your confidence. Apparently, when Fernando Mendoza has that, it's a problem. But when Drake Toll has confidence, it's good.
Evidently,
that's not how we wanted to play.
First half wasn't that good.
Here is your first event. On this day, you have to guess the year. American super swimmer Michael Phelps wins his 6th gold medal at the Olympics.
Oh. 2008 Beijing. 2004?
Yep. Athens Olympics. Athens Olympics.
Wow. Okay.
Here's your next one. On this day in guess the year, striker Carly Lloyd scores in extra time as the United States beats Brazil 1-0 to win the women's football gold medal at the blank Olympics.
Oh, at the Olympics, women's gold medal, Carly Lloyd. So, did we do soccer at the Olympics? When did we do this? 2000.
Well,
yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to guess it.
2012.
2008 Beijing.
Oh no! Oh, I'm bouncing around on my Olympics here. All right, keep going.
All right. Kevin Durant scores 30 as the U.S. retains the Olympic men's basketball title with a comfortable 96-66 win over Serbia at this Olympics.
We beat the Serbs' ass in 2016.
Woo! Correct. I'm a little shocked. I'm a little shocked you got that
Thank
one.
you. All right. Good.
All righty. On this year, Yankees slugger Babe Ruth becomes the first MLB player to hit 600 career home runs as the New York Yankees defeat the St. Louis Browns 11-7 at Sportsman's Park.
1937.
1931.
Oh, same decade. Nice. I was somewhere around there.
You were pretty close. All righty. I give you this one at the break, so I want to see if you listen to me. On this day in this year, Surrey wicketkeeper Ted Pooley completes a first-class cricket record of 8 stumpings in a county match against Kent at the Oval. And I gave you the year in the break.
The Oval, for sure. This was the Kent match in cricket in 1872.
1878.
No! Dang it. I love my cricket. 1870s was a great decade for cricket, by the way. The sport really started to catch on in Kent. So many wickets and whatnot. Addy Bates produces. Roy Lee runs the board. Armin Williams, Bruce Gilbert, Colin Jones, and Ryan McGuire. Thank you for a job. We'll see you on Monday. In the meantime, enjoy the preseason this weekend. College football's almost back as well. You Better You Bet is on the other side with Nick Costos. This has been, it always will be, it's the Drake Toll Show.